Namaste everyone. Are you ready to dive deep into the mysteries of existence and the illusion of reality? Very well. Let's dive into some mind-bending stuff. Look around you. What's in front of you? Maybe it's your phone, your laptop, or even a textbook. Focus on that object. Are you looking at the object itself, or are you experiencing whatever your eyes are detecting about the object? Think about it. You are not actually seeing the object itself, you are seeing whatever your eyes are telling you about it. Wild, right? Very well. If I ask you, what is the color of a tomato? You'd probably say red. But what happens if we shine a blue light on it? Suddenly it looks black. The tomato reflects red light under white light, but with blue light, it absorbs everything and appears black. So what is the actual color of tomato? Ever have you wondered? If you argue that its color under white light is its true color, then it's red. But what if someone decides that the true color should be what it looks like under orange light or blue? The color is entirely arbitrary. Imagine if the sun shone blue light instead of white. Everyone would agree that the tomato is black. Reality, we can say, is just a consensus. Let's put it further. If someone with a vision problem sees two tomatoes instead of one, when there is actually only one tomato, then what will you say? Will you say that there are actually two tomatoes? No. But what if everyone had this vision defect? We'd all see two tomatoes in place of one. Truth, therefore, is just an agreement based on our senses. Consider those who can't see colors or are blind. For them, traffic lights, stars, the moon, they don't exist as they do for us. There are several people out there who can't see color properly. They are colorblind. And they are different creatures who perceive the world very differently than us because their senses differ. So what will you call real? Butterflies can see a very wide range of colors, including ultraviolet light, which is absolutely invisible to humans. This helps them in finding nectar and mates. Eagles have incredibly sharp vision, about 4 to 5 times better than that of a human. They can spot a rabbit from several miles away. Their eyes are so capable of seeing a wider spectrum of colors. Humans see a limited range of colors compared to butterflies and don't have the same sharp vision as that of an eagle. Owls have their own exceptional night vision due to higher number of rod cells in their retinas, allowing them to see well in the low light compared to humans. And then there are dogs who have a much broader hearing range from 40 Hz to 60,000 Hz. They can hear high-pitched sounds that are completely inaudible to humans, which is why they react to dog whistles. On the other hand, humans have a decent range of hearing but are limited compared to many animals. We can hear sounds between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. When it comes to smell, humans' sense of smell is relatively weak. We have around 5 million olfactory receptors. On the other hand, bears have an incredibly keen sense of smell, with about 100 times more olfactory receptors than humans. They can detect scents from miles away and even through several feet of snow, which is absolutely cool, right? So, whose senses are the most authentic ones? Is it butterfly with its ultraviolet vision, or the eagle with its sharp eyes, the owl with the night vision, or the dog with its acute hearing, or the bear with its powerful nose? The truth is, each creature's senses are tailored to their needs and environment. No one set of senses is more authentic than others. They are just different and changes from species to species. The senses are like filters. They give us a version of reality, not the whole truth. Think about when you have a fever and everything tastes bland. The flavor isn't in the food, it's actually in our own tongues. Take 3 bowls of water, one boiling hot, one ice cold, and one at room temperature. Dip one hand in boiling water, then dip the same hand in that bowl which contains water of room temperature. It will feel cold, right? Now dip the same hand in ice water, then into the same room temperature bowl. It will feel warm. So, is the middle bowl really hot or cold? Nope. It's relative and feels hot compared to cold water and cold compared to hot water, depending on your prior experience. A hungry beggar who hasn't eaten anything for days, and you give him a stale piece of bread and he's overjoyed. But when you give the same piece of bread to a millionaire, he feels insulted. How can the same object bring joy to one person and anger to another? Why? Because it is entirely subjective. Happiness and suffering aren't in the objects themselves, they are in our perceptions. It's all an illusion. If I tell you my name is Rohan every day, you'd know my name is Rohan, right? But what if today I tell you my name is Rohan, tomorrow I say it's Soham, the next day it's Vivek, and the following day it's Amit, all the while my passport says Arun and ID card says Aditya? Then what's my actual name? There is no real name. Why? Because it keeps on changing. You can say it's not true. Now you go to buy a gadget from a shopkeeper and he says it's 50 bucks. The next day the price is 70 bucks. The third day it's 30 bucks. And then on the fourth day he says it's free. The price keeps on changing every day. So now what's the actual price? Well, there isn't one. Why? Because it keeps on changing. Imagine you are looking to buy a property. The seller tells you one set of details, but when you ask for the papers, the details are completely different. Would you buy it? No. Why? Because it has changed. Think about meeting some people who seems to be cool at first. The next day they lie to you. The third day they try to gaslight and manipulate you. The fourth day they fight with you for no reason at all. And the fifth day they are again sweet and try to be friends with you again. Would you trust them? No. Why? Because their personality keeps on changing per day. When asked about them, you will say that they are not genuine or trustworthy at all. A common way to figure out what's true or false is to check if it changes. When I look at sea, I see waves. Can I take the waves with me and leave the sea behind? No. Why? Because what's changing? The waves or the water? Waves don't have any independent existence. They are just the shape of the water, a concept in our minds. The form is changing, not the water itself. Here, waves are illusion as they change. It does not mean that they do not exist, but it means instead that the waves have no independent existence other than their essence, the water. You can never remove waves from water. Think about the clay pot and the clay itself. Can you have a pot without the clay? What's changing? The shape of the pot or the clay. The pot is changing, not the clay. So the clay is real and the underlying unchanging reality. The shape of the pot is temporary and therefore illusory. Today it is in the shape of the pot. A decade later it could be an idol or even a statue of some politician. Now consider gold jewelry. Jewelry can take any form, but you can't have jewelry without gold. The form is changing, not the essence. The essence, that is gold, is not changing and therefore is very, very real, while the jewelry is unreal. On the path of knowledge, we say that if something changes, it's non-existent. It has no independent existence. On the other hand, if something does not change, then it is the essence. It is the underlying reality. Look at your experiences. Is there anything in your experience that is not changing? Everything is changing. So everything is false. It is illusory. You are the only thing that ever remains the same, the experiencer, the pure witness, not the fleeting, ever changing experiences. Our senses are experiencing something, but we don't know what it is. We think they are real because everyone sees the same thing. But what about those who see differently? We think something is wrong with their senses, not ours. Different creatures we know perceive the world differently because their senses differ. For example, butterflies are able to see ultraviolet light, eagles have super sharp vision, humans have a limited range of colors, and owls have exceptional night vision. So, whose vision is the most authentic one? Human hear between 20 to 20,000 hertz. Dogs hear between 40 to 60,000 hertz. So, whose hearing is most authentic? Humans have around 5 million olfactory receptors. Bear have 100 times more. So, whose sense of smell is more authentic? No one's senses are more authentic. They are just different, designed for each creature's survival. It proves the world is illusory, not real. Think about it. An artist sees beauty in a painting, but a villager might see random paint. Is the painting beautiful or ugly? It's all in the mind. Beauty is an illusion. Some people love rock music, others prefer classical, and there are some who prefer pop. So, preferences are entirely subjective. The world as we see it is an illusion crafted by our senses, perceptions, and the only constant, unchanging reality is you, the experiencer, the foundation of all experiences. Imagine you have a tomato and you leave it on the table for 5 days. What happens? It rots, right? Now, let's keep everything the same, your senses, the laws of the world, even your own mind. But let's fast forward the time, like a video. If that tomato rots in 5 hours instead of 5 days, would you still think it's real? Now, let's speed up time even more. If the tomato rots in 5 minutes, will it still appear real to you? How about 5 seconds? Imagine you put a tomato on the table, pick up a knife to cut it, and before you can make even the first cut, it's gone. It vanishes right before your eyes. Before you can even touch it. You might think you were dreaming. Speed it even more, and it disappears in a blip. Is there even a tomato? Was there even a tomato? No, right? When time is sped up like this, what seemed real and useful becomes fake and useless. If something changes too fast for eyes to grab, it feels like it's not even there. Everything is like this. If it lasts for a while, we think it's real because we remember it. The tomato lasts for a few days, so it's useful for survival, and we say it's real. But when the time is sped up for the tomato, then it becomes a dream. And then an illusion. Now imagine you are sitting in your garden, looking around you, and your body stays the same, the chair you are sitting on stays the same, and the laws of physics remain the same for you and the chair, but time around you passes 1,000 times faster. You see the grasses, bushes, trees, vines, and the flowers grow, emerge, and perish in seconds. Trees grows from seeds to sprouts in a second and into a fully grown tree in just 10 seconds, with flowers and vines emerging extremely fast. Within minutes they grow old, wither and collapse to the ground, while new trees start to emerge from the seeds dropped by the previous ones. Rains, summers, winters, autumns and springs come and go several times per second for you. The world around you is running 1,000 times faster than normal. Schools, banks, hospitals, buildings change rapidly, and you can do nothing but stare. Now speed up time even more, to 1,000,000 times faster, and you'll see your garden turning into buildings, plains into mountains, and forests into deserts as continents shift and change right in front of your eyes. Speed it even more, and you might even witness the destruction of Earth and even the entire solar system. Crazy, right? Our thoughts and emotions change quickly, but we treat them as real because they repeat. If you are angry every day, it feels real. But if you are angry only once, you won't think it is really a part of you. Memory is just repetition. So it feels real. Love, anger, and all these emotions are useful for survival. So we treat them as real. The criteria for truth are arbitrary and subjective. Anyone can set up their own criteria based on their understanding and preferences of the world. If 20 people sees a tomato and everyone say it's red, round and tasty, it becomes real. But if 20 people see that tomato in a dream, was it real when you wake up? No, right? Even with the same criteria in waking up and dreaming state, something feels real in one state and not in another. Reality is truly arbitrary. An artist sees beauty in a painting, but a villager might see random paint spilled. Is the painting really beautiful or ugly? It's all in the mind. Beauty is truly an illusion. Some people love rock music, others prefer classical, and there are some who prefer pop. Preferences are entirely subjective. Everything we experience is fleeting and constantly changing. The only real thing is you, the experiencer. The world we perceive it is an illusion shaped by our senses and perceptions. Alright, let's talk about memory and how it shapes our perception of reality. You might say, hey, I remember that tomato I saw yesterday. It was so juicy and ripe. So, can you eat that tomato now? No, right? It exists only as a memory, a shadow of what once was. Memories are like that. They are not real in the present moment. You can't satisfy your hunger with the memory of food you ate almost an year ago. Think back to when you were a kid and you used to watch those really scary horror movies. Remember how you'd lie in bed afterwards and scared that the ghosts from the movies were lurking in the dark and they will come to haunt you while you sleep. Those ghosts only existed in your mind, stored up in your memories, just like the tomato in your memory. They are not real now. Your whole life, from your name to what you have studied, your occupation, it all exists only in your memories. And guess what? Memories change. They are not fixed or permanent. They are ever changing and unreal. It's like living in a shadow world where everything is fleeting. You might think I am so and so, the son and daughter of this person, I belong to this great country, this superior race, but all of that is just stuffed in your memory, which is just a shadow. Memory isn't real. It's useful for survival, yes, I agree. It helps us learn from our past experiences and mistakes. But if you don't need it for survival, why hold it? Your body needs the world to survive, not your true self. The experiencer, the pure witness, don't need any of it. It doesn't even need to survive. You live in an illusion, believing it to be true, so therefore you stay ignorant. But when you become aware of the ultimate truth, that's knowledge. It's knowing that everything around you is like a magic trick, a grand illusion. Everything except you, the ultimate experiencer. So remember this, everything you think you know, everything you remember, it's all part of an illusion. What's real is you, the pure experiencer, the pure witness, the consciousness, the awareness, the underlying reality, which is beyond all these fleeting experiences and memories. That's the knowledge of the Maya, the understanding that everything is an illusion except the essence of who you truly are. Many thanks for listening.